Hello, welcome back to my channel, Mel Stampin' Gallery. I'm Melanie, your close to my heart maker. And today's layout is part of the monthly collaboration with the Makers with Heart Gals. And this is our monthly challenge video. And this month we decided to focus on the color Journey, which is the color of the year, which is highlighted here on page 12 in the catalog. You see the ink and the re-inkers and the sequins, glitter gems, of course a shimmer brush, shimmer trim, and the dots. So I will be using some of that color today in the layout. And the other thing we wanted to do was focus on cardstock techniques, and I'll show you how I did this because this is not an embossing folder, and I will show you how I created that using a stencil. And I also wanted to use these two little pictures of my granddaughters. It was a rainy day. They had some umbrellas because I had this stamp set called Rain or Shine, and I absolutely love the umbrella and anything with the boots. So I decided to do a little paper piecing on that to kind of mimic the umbrella that my granddaughter was holding, and then of course the boots as well. So I'm going to clear this all out of the way and we'll go ahead and get started, and I'll show you how I did all those techniques. So let's go ahead and bring in the Versamat for our work surface here. And I've already gone ahead and prepared excuse me, my base page. And what I did was I took a piece of 12 by 12 cardstock, and this comes from the Dream Maker collection. And I did gut that out, and you can see I've used the Journey cardstock as a frame on the white daisy cardstock here. And let me show you kind of what my inspiration was. Like I said, I love this little stamp set here with the umbrella and the flowers and the boots. I just love anything with those boots and the umbrellas. And I really liked the layout here. It's simple. It uses those stamps as embellishments, but then it also had the 4 pieces of cardstock that they did different treatments to. And then it's got these little splatters around the paper. So I thought I would try to mimic that. So I went ahead and I've got my pieces of cardstock, and I've got the Journey here. And like I said, I did do a treatment to that, and I'll show you that in just a second. And also I've got the peach cardstock. I did the same treatment to that. I didn't get it. As I lay these papers out, I'm thinking they're going to go kind of like that. And then the photos are going to go in the center, kind of overlapping like so. Let's see though. And then the umbrella will go up here. And then the little boots, once I get all these treatments done, will go down here. And I do have the flowers that I will put on the top there. And probably some sort of embellishment up here. I'm thinking of a title down here. But let's see. I think since the pictures, I didn't tell you, those are matted on the Journey cardstock as well. What if I flip these two around, maybe? I'm not sure. Maybe like that. And then when the umbrella goes on here, that will kind of pop out a little bit better. Maybe. No, I think I like it the other way. We'll see. I'm going to fiddle with that, but I want to show you how I did the treatment on the card. So to do that, what I'm going to do is take a stencil and emboss with the stencil. So I need to move my Versamat out of the way here. And I'm going to bring in my Spellbinders Platinum die cutting machine, and let me get, and it shows you the different sandwiches that you can use on your machine. So I am going to be using the one with the embossing mat. So you start with your platform base. So I'm going to build that sandwich first. Let's see if I can put this here so you can see it. The platform base, and then you use this B platform top. Then I'm putting the stencil down on top of that, and the paper goes on top of the stencil. And then it came with my embossing mat, and that goes on top of that. And then you need your adapter plate. So that's a little bit different than the normal cutting sandwich. So then you just simply run that through. All right, and let's see if that worked. Cross your fingers. Oh yeah. I don't know if you can see that in the light, but can you see that? I've got a raised image here and the debossed image here on the other side. Okay, so let's bring our Versamat in with our papers. And I should mention the stencils that I used were from Stencil Slimline card pack, again found in the core catalog. On page 35 we have the different card front stencils, and you have the card fronts for the A2 size, and then you have the card fronts for the Slimline, and that's what I used. I used this brocade looking one, and then I also used this one with the kind of diamond shapes on it for my embossed images. So another fun way to use your stencils. So of course what I want to do is to make that a little bit more pronounced. I think I'm going to sand that like I did on the journey. Just taking a sanding block, let me move this out of the way a little bit, and just lightly, I don't want the whole thing done, just little bits and pieces of it, sanding over the top to expose that white core. And as you know, if you're familiar with Close to My Heart cardstock, it does have that white core, so that when you sand something like this, it exposes that white core, and then you have your embossed image then shows up quite nicely. So, and I should mention, I think, while I'm doing this, that one of the reasons I wanted to use cardstock, and we wanted to use cardstock, was because Close to My Heart right now is in the middle of their cardstock carnival. So if you go to my website and go to specials, you will be able to find all the great deals that we are having on our cardstock right now. And of course, I will have all the supplies listed down below with links to all the products that I've used, as well as my Spellbinders Platinum. I'll have links to that down there as well. And speaking of sanding to reveal that white core, I think I'm going to go ahead and take an old distressing tool and distress the edges of this of these photo mats to bring out some of that white core and just give them a little bit more texture and dimension. And also because if I have this journey on top of the journey, kind of fades into it. So we will distress the edges of this a little bit and pop that up. And if you don't have a distressing tool like this, you can always use the edge of your micro tip scissors, something with a sharp edge, but you don't really want to do that too often because that could dull it a little bit. So let's see, let's finish this one. And like I said, this is an old distressing tool. I think I've seen Tim Holtz has some distressing tools like this. This is an old one from Stampin' Up! That I have in my stash. But it is one of my favorite tools, especially when your cardstock has this white core. I really like that. So then we have that, and I think, yeah, I like that. That makes them pop up a little bit better. Okay, so one of the other things I said I wanted to show you was how I do the paper piecing with stamping. And I did these boots, and I did them, they kind of had this splatter color, and I was thinking about that down here. Then I had some more of this beautiful paper. It's what this strip here, and it's got all the different colors, and I thought, well, maybe it would be nice to bring some of that yellow down here in the boots. So if I take my stamp, let's pull it out of the package here, and let's hold the stamp with the boots. It's got so many different variations that I just love, but I was thinking if I could get this yellow with a little bit of that, I think, glacier, maybe if I put the boot right about like that and get that pattern, and it's got some of the dark down here with the dark of the boot, I think that will look good. Now to do the paper piecing, of course, I'm going to need the stamp. So let's gently peel that off the carrier sheet here. And I'll set that aside, and we will mount that on our block. Okay, and let me move that layout aside for a second so I can flip my Versamat over to the spongy side, put my paper down. And I also need my intense black ink. So let's make sure we have that inked up really well. And stamp on some scratch paper here to make sure that it's going to stamp nicely. And I'm glad I did, because see, I don't have enough in the middle there. So let's make that, get that stamped up again. That's better. Let's do it one more time. There we go. It's important when you're doing this paper piecing that you do have a nice crisp image to cut around. And I want to get that glacier down there on the bottom. So press and stamp. Perfect. The next thing is then, of course, you need your micro tip scissors, and you're simply going to cut around that image. Let me just kind of cut that out so I don't have a huge piece of paper to work with. Now, normally when I'm fussy cutting, you go outside the lines, but when you are paper piecing, you want to go right on the lines. In fact, even a little bit inside the lines. Because when you stamp and die cut your image, you want it to kind of be inside those lines, if that makes sense. Okay, so you're just going to follow the image around, and remember, you're just opening and closing your scissors and moving the image and not your scissors. Okay, so I'm going to go all the way around, and I'll cut that inside out too in a second, but I'm just going around like this. And cut, like I say, as close to that black line, and even if you get inside the line a little bit, that's actually perfect. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm going to bring in my all-purpose mat here so I don't get any glue on my Versamat. I'm going to use my Tombow Mono liquid glue so that I can move things around and get that in place. I'll just put a little bit on the back here and pick it up with my tweezers. There we go. And then I can just adhere this down here on the boots and move them around so I get them in place. Okay, like so. All right, let's do the other one. Oops, see? I want that over just a little bit. There we go. And let's do the other one. Oh, I love how those boots came out. Just reminds me of the sparkle of the rain. And then I was able to get that dark part on the bottom of the boot. I love that. All right, let's finagle that into place. There we go. That looks good. There we go. Now I'll set that aside to dry. And then I'll do the umbrella, but I think what I want to do to this umbrella to make it, give it a little bit more dimension, I'm going to take my toffee ink, and let's take the toffee foam dauber here, the dome top, with my ink blending tool, and let's just kind of ink up the edges of this a little bit. So give it some depth and dimension so it doesn't look quite so flat and might look a little bit more rounded than on when I go to adhere it to the stamped and die cut image. If I really wanted to get crazy, I could cut out each one of those pieces, but I don't want to get that crazy. But you could if you wanted to. All right, so I'm going to set that aside, and that's going to get glued on there like that. But let's see, we need to color the stem. So I think I'm going to take my brown gray blend, tri-blend marker, and let's do the handle with the darkest shade. And I don't think I'm going to get too crazy with any kind of shading. I'm just going to color that in. And the thing, I don't always go right to the edge when I'm coloring with these because it does tend to spread just a little bit. All right, so then for this part of the handle, let's just use the lightest shade and color down like that. And then let's see, these dots will be showing, so I'm just gonna quickly dot them with the tip of this brown gray blend, and this again, like I said, is the lightest shade. And let's do this part up here because that will be showing as well. All right, so that's done. And then when we put our umbrella on there, let's get our glue back. Okay, and put the glue on here. There we go. And lift that up. All right, finagle this around a little bit. Yeah, I like how that shading with the ink really brought that, kind of made that pop and bring that to life a little bit. And then when we color in the handle of the umbrella, that looks nice. Okay, so, all right, so as I was looking at this boot and I had the marker out, I thought I would go ahead and do these little buckles up here and kind of make them stand out a little bit with the dark side of the brown gray blend. And yeah, I really like how that really pops it out. Let's see, I'll hold that up. Can you see that? I just love these little boots. All right, now, so we've got the photos. They're gonna kind of go like this. And then this one goes up here a little bit like that. And the umbrella is going to go kind of like this maybe. And then according to the sketch, if you look here, they had a little bit of journaling right here. So we'll leave a spot there for the journaling. And let's see, the boots are going to come in down here. And then the stamp set had the flowers that go with it. And I've stamped and die cut those out, but I don't quite know how I want to do that yet. I don't know if I want to sponge them. I could use the tri-blends, but truthfully, I don't feel like doing all that coloring. So what I might do is get an ink pad and watercolor with an ink pad. Now, let's see, I've got everything kind of laid out, but once again, I'm thinking before I actually lay it down, I'm going to take my Journey ink, and this stamp set had these adorable little raindrops on it, and I think I'll put a few little raindrops here and there. So let's move this aside a little bit, and we're going to stamp the raindrops in the Journey. I think I'll do like a 1 second generation there. Let's move this up. And let's do some more maybe here. And here. Let's see how that's looking. That's okay. And then maybe some down here. All right, so let's get the Journey here. And yeah, let's do one more right there and here. Then I thought, let's step it up a little bit more. So how about some clear shimmer brush? All right, so let's shake that up, squeeze a little bit on our all-purpose mat here. I'm going to just move all this out of the way and take the lid and splatter with the clear. Oh yeah, I'm liking that. And let's get some down here. Perfect. Looks like raindrops. I don't know if you can see that shimmer, but boy, trust me, in real life, that looks amazing. All right, I gotta clean this up and come right back. All right, so I'm back, and while you were away, I've got the shimmer, and I went ahead and stamped those little raindrops, and I've got everything adhered down, all the main pieces where I want it. So I've been working on the flower for the top of the boot, and I did decide to go ahead and paint with the smushing of the ink pad and pick up the ink on the lid with my watercolor brush. So I did paint that with some very subtle colors. Well, actually the colors are very bright because I used Candy Apple, Glacier Lagoon, a little bit of toffee, and I think I even used some peach or papaya in there. And then of course I had to use some clear shimmer brush to paint over the top of it. Oh, I think I even used Sundance on the yellow flowers to give that some shimmer. So those boots are going to put down there, and let's use some of our foam tape to pop those flowers up a little bit. So let's just cut some with our non-stick micro tip scissors here. Put some foam on the back and pop that up. And then we'll come back and work on the title. Now, the title has, or this stamp set has this saying, "Rain or shine, you're always on my mind," which I thought was perfect for this. And it would look cute up there, but it's just a little bit too small. And I wanted something big down here. So the Dreammaker set had this big word that says always, and I think I might try to stamp that somehow. There's no thing cut for it, so I have to stamp and maybe fussy cut it out, and I'll put that there. And then on, so what I did was I took a circle and I masked off the other part, and I just left the rain or shine your. And I think if I stick that in there like that, and then put the always in the other half of that circle then on my mind down here, I think that will work for the title. I did go ahead and stamp the word always in the matching journey, and I cut apart each letter rather than have all that white in between. It wasn't hard to cut these because of the straight edges. So I'm going to put the word always down here under the pictures. Oops, gotta spell it right. Always. Okay. Always. And then the on my mind again was from that stamp set, the rain or shine. And I did just stamp it on white cardstock and kind of cut around it because I did not want to take a chance and stamp on my layout and mess it all up. All right, so I think that's going to go like that. Now that the title's down, I think I'm going to take some of these journaling strips that we have, and I think I'm going to kind of place them right under the title, and then that will kind of ground the title. If I can find my scissors. And let's put one about there. And let's cut that just a little bit shorter. And then we'll put another one here about like that, maybe. And let's cut that one, trim that down to about there. And I'll add some journaling later. I don't know that I have a whole lot to say about this picture, other than the date maybe, and just a little bit about what was going on. But I think there you have it. So Like I said, this was a collaboration with the makers with Haight, and you will be able to check out all their links down below in the description box. And you will also be able to see all the links, like I said before, to all my to my website and the other shopping links that I have down there below as well. So if you like this video, don't forget to please give that a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you are notified every time I upload a video. So let me see, let me bring this in a little bit closer. I think I like the way that that has turned out. And yeah, so thanks again so much for joining me. And until next time, I'll see you here on YouTube. Bye.